welcome to the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, and I am joined this week by JC of the Deluxe Asterisks. Give you a little backstory on what this show is all about. We are Just Two Marks. We enjoy wrestling. We enjoy talking about wrestling. We enjoy interacting with you, the viewer, about wrestling. But despite how we're talking about it and the insight that we give, we're not actually insiders. We're not involved with the wrestling business. Despite our fandom, we're just fans. We're just marks. We try not to use insider terms. I emphasize try. We slip up every now and again. But despite our opinions and our enjoyment and, desire to discuss professional wrestling, we are not part of the wrestling business. We are just two marks. And we're here to talk about this week in wrestling, and it was an interesting week. Raw, we kind of had some Lashley's kind of getting ready to start maybe doing some stuff of a little bit better significance than what he has been doing since his return. Sasha and Bayley have exploded.
Finally had their...
I mean, it kind of started last week a little bit. They actually fought, but now it's even worse. And it's going to lead to something questionable. More on that later. And Kevin Owens lost an automobile. And so we'll just go into Raw thoughts. So, Raw thoughts this week. Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns are on a collision course, it seems, for Extreme Rules. And while my thoughts on Roman Reigns have been well documented on this show, Bobby Lashley's kind of doing some stuff, and I'm actually kind of happy about that. He seems to be at least in line to have a main event at Extreme Rules. Really kind of hoping that he wins, just because, like he said in that segment, we've seen Roman Reigns a bunch, and I know that was, part of the storyline and everything, but, I really, really hope at this point that the WWE are kind of hey, unless, they're absolutely sure Roman Reigns is getting the damn Universal title at SummerSlam, or, there's rumors that Brock ain't even going to be it, so whatever. The next time Brock wrestles, he's losing the title, and if it's going to have to be fucking Roman Reigns, then whatever, they're... to quote, Shelton Benjamin's theme, there ain't no stopping it now. And we can't run from it. No stopping. But anyway, that little tangent aside, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar's a half-assed dream match, and if you're not going to give it to us, then... why, or I guess I should phrase it, why not give it to us?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I mean, when Lashley debuted back in 2005, what was he, who was he compared to? Lesnar. You've essentially got money on your hands there. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? What is the reasoning for not putting that match out there?
Well, it probably also comes down to Brock and what he wants to do. Not that he's impossible to do business with, but I mean, he's going, if he is going to, be splitting his time potentially between another run in the UFC, then, it might just be who's in line, and that could be one or the other.
It's just, before now, it didn't really bother me. I mean, it bothered me a little bit, just because, even though I'm not a Roman Reigns fan, I still wish that somebody would get something from Brock Lesnar instead of him just kind of coming in and making everybody look bad. But, it didn't bother me, him not being in every pay-per-view, that wasn't something, despite other people on the internet, that wasn't something that fazed me too much. Now it's beginning to faze me, because it's one, you have, you basically shit on SmackDown every pay-per-view because you're telling me that a non-title main event with Roman Reigns means more than a world championship for this brand, which, I mean, you don't want, they don't want to come out and say that SmackDown's the B show, but SmackDown's the B show, even though I prefer it to Raw. So that's like kind of like being thrown in your face with you not having that Universal title around, and from my perspective. So, yeah, I'm really hoping to have Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. And you know what? If you don't want to put the title on Lashley, I mean, you've got Money in the Bank with Strowman for a reason. You know, have Strowman cash in after that match, and then if Brock's going to go, then let him go. And then Strowman's the champion, and then all is right with the world, because...
You could do Strowman versus Lashley. I mean,
Strowman versus Roman. You can do Strowman versus... seems like they're doing Strowman versus Owens right now. You can do a lot of things with Strowman. The only issue that I really see with Strowman as champion right now, it's kind of like, okay, how do you keep him dominant but vulnerable? How do I take it seriously when possibly Finn Balor's going after him? You know, that's just an
also we're also kind of getting to a point. Well, I mean, it's not like there's that many, but still, like you're starting to get like a decent amount of like monster wrestlers on one brand. Like, you know, you got Brock, Lashley, Strowman, all are basically treated like, you know, they're just these like, you know, especially, you know, obviously especially Strowman and probably especially Brock, you know, they're treated like these like, you know, otherworldly wrestlers that just, you know, throw people around, you know, like they're nothing. And, you know, you got like I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. Maybe it's just an observation, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you've got the roster almost stacked that way, who fights them?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to that stereotype. You know, Vince McMahon just likes the big guys.
If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
You know, like the good balance. If you're going to insist on the main event being that way, the good balance would be, you know, like what they're doing right now, as I've gushed all over every week, you know. Yes, it was Seth Rollins champion, but, you know, keeping Seth, keeping Finn, Ziggler. I really think, I don't want to, like, fantasy, you know, make storyline fantasy, do fan fiction wrestling too far ahead right now, but I really think that, like, what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, I think Drew McIntyre could be a credible contender. Even, like, I know, like, it'd be hard to maybe do it, like, and you could work that numbers game in, like Ziggler, you know, maybe if Strowman wins the title, you know, you could kind of work that well. They use the numbers and underhanded tactics to get the belt onto Drew McIntyre, because of all the, even though he's, like, not always wrestling, of all the people, the recent NXT call-ups, I'd say Drew McIntyre is the one that I haven't completely lost hope on yet. I mean, we'll get to another one, you know, we get to the SmackDown reviews, but, you know, the Revival, oh God, you know, Asuka. Yeah. Drew McIntyre is kind of like, oh, hey, they may use him correctly, so maybe that would be a good, like, go against Strowman, because I'd be really shocked if Strowman cashes in that briefcase and doesn't come away with the title.
That would be one of the one. Yeah,
that would be like more of a WTF than.
Because I mean, most people that like cash in and lose. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't say most people, but there's some people that have cashed in and lost, like John Cena, where it was like, well, who did it hurt?
Yeah,
John Cena didn't need it. Like, you know,
Corbin and Sandow, maybe it kind of hurt them a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess, tangent aside, you know, speaking of Baron Corbin, he looked completely disinterested in this interview with Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and Kurt Angle, because fuck Baron Corbin. Fuck him and his newly bald head. The Constable. But it was actually a decent promo. Interview, whatever you want to call it. I broke my rule there, but I mean, who knows? They called it. They called it that on screen, so it's all good.
I mean, you do run into the thing, which, you know, even the world champion is kind of guilty of this, where sometimes Lashley just doesn't quite have the intensity,
right,
to match the situation, which it just is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, again, give credit where it's due. Roman didn't do a bad job, even though I'm like still not a huge fan of where his character is at this point. But
if he would just combine his green and black vest with Seth Rollins' green and black pants, he would be a giant Samoan X-Pac. And I think that is who could finally take down Brock Lesnar.
Only if he comes out to Uncle Cracker.
Well, regular X-Pac would insist on that. Maybe Roman would not.
Yeah. Uncle Cracker will take down Brock Lesnar.
Well, I mean, I can't.
You're dealing with the X Factor. I got everything out. Save that video. Save that sound clip. That can be used later. That'd be a good one.
So Strowman and Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, the kind of thing where Owens wanted to be friends, and then Strowman didn't trust him, and then Strowman destroyed his personal vehicle, and then laughed at him. And while Kevin Owens has a billion bad things coming to him, probably this not the vibe they were going for. Whenever I saw that segment, was aw, poor guy.
I don't know. I don't know if I was quite. I had been told about it before I saw the segment where he was rushing to the parking lot.
The fire extinguisher way too late.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it made me think of recently. I saw some kind of set. I'm assuming it was probably for the WWE Network or something. But I saw a clip of the Godfather talking about his comma entrance at WrestleMania 8, where it was too late. It kind of that's what it immediately made me think of. It's just someone's oh, wait, go.
To me, it kind of was very much reminiscent of the. I don't know why it made me think of when they drove into the lake in The Office, and it's just they're pulling it out, and then the last thing you see is just the gift basket just fall into the lake. That's just for some reason it just gave me memories of that. Maybe I just need to go back and rewatch The Office, as everybody should, because it's awesome. But yeah, the other big thing coming out of Raw is Bayley, you got to see an aggressive side of Bayley with the whole storyline with her and Sasha, where she brutally attacked Sasha Banks.
The minute Sasha lost the match, it was just she made
boom!
Yeah, beeline for her.
And I don't know who's going to be good or bad in that whole storyline, but the crowd was really behind Bayley doing that to Sasha, which led to Kurt Angle informing both Bayley and Sasha that they had to undergo counseling, or they
both of them are?
Both of them, yes.
Okay.
I guess we didn't watch the Sasha segment, so yeah, they're both going to counseling or they're fired. So kind of makes me wonder what the hell is going to happen there.
I mean, I know it is what it is, and it's for the sake of the storyline, but when you hear that, you almost wonder, weren't they doing that for 99% of the roster? It's didn't Braun Strowman just destroy someone's vehicle? Where's his anger management force?
Where was it when he tried to murder Roman Reigns last year?
Well, obviously he wasn't mad. So
why wasn't Sami Zayn sent to counseling to why are you making fun of a man's family on television?
Because he wasn't angry about it.
He wasn't angry about it.
Bayley is the only angry person on the entire roster. That's been
and when it's Bayley's angry, you got problems. Kind of leaves me to wonder if they do turn Bayley into they turn her bad, what how's her character gonna be? I kind of feel like she might be kind of like a Steamboat, where it's you just can't really make her bad. It's kind of she's kind of too good to be bad.
I don't know. I feel, but
not saying it can't be done. It's just this my perspective.
I brought this up around maybe a year or so ago, and I technically brought it up about maybe an hour ago.
Yeah,
as well. But I said one thing that was kind of weird about Bayley when she first debuted was, on the main roster, is she had, the whole thing where she was always kind of like an underdog. She was underdog for a long time on NXT, and then she was, kind of still kind of, had that vibe when she got to Raw, and they put the belt on her really quickly, and it was almost what do you do when you give the underdog the belt?
Yeah.
Like, it's already been done. You did it.
Because, I mean, look at how long it took her on NXT to get it, you know?
You know, it's like, you've already done it, so, like, now what? And I know, you know, you could say that even if it took a year for her to win it, eventually you still run into that same thing. It was like, well, the underdog's not the underdog anymore.
Yeah.
So, maybe, and obviously they did give her something else to do, because they had this kind of simmering, that's the best way to put it, because it seemed like this whole thing going on between her and Sasha has been kind of
it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
You've wondered when it would be like an official like explosion. This is like this has potential. You know, like, it seems weird, but like, you have potential to do something good here. Like, a lot of people are complaining about the whole, well, is it gonna be Team Hell No? Is it gonna be Team Hell No again? They could do something good with this. It could be some really, really good TV. But is it?
But I think also you might run into the thing here too, is like, you know, they made like, you know, and if you're going to compare the two, which I mean, I guess it's fair if you want to compare the two, is I don't see this being for the sake of comedy.
I hope
like
not.
Most of Team Hell No's thing was. I mean, yeah, they eventually, like, you know, they formed, you know, whatever, but it was a lot of comedy that eventually formed them as a team, you know, and I would think, like...
It's kind of interesting we're having this conversation with what happened, like we'll talk about SmackDown, but we'll get to that.
But, you know, I would think, like, you know, this seems like pretty, like, which, I mean, once again, you know, everything's serious when you're talking, you know, about wrestling, technically.
Right.
You know, but within...
Just ask a tennis racket wielding atheist from the South.
So if you're just, you know, if you're in this world, you know, that is wrestling, everything is serious for the most part. You know, everything, you know, there's an importance to things. But that being said, like, with them, like, you know, judging on how the storyline has progressed, it just seems like, you know, like, there's Daniel Bryan and Kane, which is weird to say. Like, there was Daniel Bryan and Kane's anger, which, you know, translated into the haha because of the situation they were put in. And then there was, like, this anger that Bayley was expressing against Sasha, which was just like, you know, she was real, like, you know, like, legitimately emotionally upset.
Right.
You know, like, you know, she felt mistreated, you know, and she just had enough. And she was beating this person up. Right.
They have potential to really go in a good direction with this and do something possibly different and entertaining with this. Let's just hope it doesn't turn into either bad writing, bad television, bad execution. There's like there's that small sliver that could make this really, really good, but there's like so many things. It could be played for ha-ha. It could, you know, be a victim of bad writing. It could be a victim of the wrong person being good, the wrong person being... There's everything working against it, but I feel like if it hits that one little... You know, it's like Luke Skywalker. If it gets that one shot, it could be really, really good. And that's just something that we're going to have to see going forward. But, yeah, that's all the key points. B Team, going to be taking on the Deleter of Worlds. Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, yay wrestling, because it's good. And that's it. Time for SmackDown thoughts. Alright, time for our thoughts on SmackDown, and first things first, James fucking Ellsworth. I kind of half dig the character. I'm hot and cold on him. You know, especially with how he was, you know, just like how ridiculously like awful that. It was kind of like it's so obnoxious and so bad it was good. You know, where. You know, calling Asuka babe and you know, making sure to point out, I have a great sex life, y'all. But sitting through that painful segment and him painfully flirting with Paige led to something that we haven't seen in quite some time, and we're gonna have a man versus a woman match.
No, are they literally implying that that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, no, they're implying it. Yes, maybe I should. Nothing is set in stone. If they're implying they're going to have a female versus a male match with Asuka and James Ellsworth. And
I feel like, well, I was just kind of saying, like, I didn't think they would actually do it, when I heard that implied, but at the same time, I just kind of thought, like, let me phrase this again. The immediate thing that came to my mind is they don't do intergender stuff.
They did the mixed match challenge, like
yeah, but still, it was, yeah. So, like, I mean, it did, like, but you would think, like, if not a match, this has to lead to something. Like, I mean, they said, didn't they say that she already attacked him, like,
earlier?
Week
before, last week he got attacked, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I would say, like, if they're going to do the match, then they need to just pull the trigger and do the match.
Yeah. This isn't a match that I think people would want to pay money to see.
It could. If they...
People want to see Asuka win that title. They don't want to see Asuka wasting her time with James Ellsworth.
That's true. I mean, I won't say that's not true. But at the same time, like... It could be... If... it's like... It's... I think of... everyone always talking about, like, the old... Like, I mean, not that he's in the circle of them, but just playing with the idea of, like, all the old... heat-seeking managers and stuff like that, where,
right.
like, everyone's just waiting and waiting and waiting for this to happen, and then they finally get, what's coming to them. Like,
I mean, you could do possibly, on that vein, like you were saying, we could, or we, they, whatever, pronouns pal, as, Bruce and Conrad would say about Vince. Anyway, tangent aside, you could do the whole, like, hey, okay, if Asuka wins the title, she gets 5 minutes with Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Or then they have, Ellsworth is in, do the shark cage, or he's handcuffed to, like, the ring post, and then if Asuka wins, she gets to beat up Ellsworth. The only problem with that is, what do you do with Ellsworth at that point? That's like, they're doing this now, but it's kind of like, okay, what... The problem they ran into the first go-around with Ellsworth is the shelf life for him is not very long. Especially when they kind of, like, gave him, dare I say, too much too soon at the beginning of his run last time.
Well, maybe it wasn't, I don't know if it was like that, but they just, maybe just too much in terms of just, like, it just, like, wasn't, like, that, like, it wasn't ending. It was just, like they did, like, if they maybe would have just kept it to, like, like, oh, he qualified for the title match, and then the title match, and then that would have been it.
It would have been one of the ones, he beats AJ, and then that first time around, then you've been like, oh, AJ's bad, and he's a dick, and he thought he was going to be funny and bring James Ellsworth in, and now he lost to a nobody, and ha ha ha, good laugh at AJ's expense, and then the next week, AJ kick his ass in the title match, and it was up. And then there it ended, and then if you still want to, keep James Ellsworth around, maybe NXT that fucking shit?
Yeah, or just, like, and well, the thing was with that, I mean, it's kind of ancient history at this point, but, then it just kind of kept going longer, and then it was like he kept, like, messing up Dean Ambrose's stuff, and then like, eventually he turned heel, and...
Bad guy.
Yeah, bad guy. Okay, fine.
We're allowed a couple slip-ups, give us a break. But, yeah, it's, I get it, but, like, once Asuka kicks his ass, or Charlotte, or Becky, or Naomi, or Lana, or any of these women, because, like, I don't see him being, like, a threat with the guys.
Yeah.
When any of these women kick his ass, it's like, is that just going to be the revolving door of... And then Asuka kicks James Ellsworth's ass. And then Charlotte's going to kick James Ellsworth's ass. And then...
What he needs to do is he needs to be like the Chris Jericho of job guys. Like, or just like, like bad guy managers and stuff like that. It's like, he just needs to, like, show up, or like, almost like Abdullah the Butcher. Like, he needs to just go to he needs to be in WWE, get beaten up, and then he'll go to New Japan, and then he'll get beaten up, and then he'll go to. He never stays in one territory too long.
Yeah, doesn't wear out his welcome.
Yeah,
like he did the first go round.
He's there for the box office, and then he goes.
James Ellsworth, box office daddy. And we've been talking about James Ellsworth for about 6 minutes, and that's probably about 6 minutes too long. So we're done with James Ellsworth. But on something else that maybe, and I love James Ellsworth, the fact that I've listened to him on Talk Is Jericho before I shit on him too much. Listen to him on Talk Is Jericho, listen to his story, listen to how he was able to get that. God bless the guy for being able to do that.
Wait, what? Okay, if you don't think he's doing so well and you have another idea for him, why don't you do the Ellsworths of wrestling, and then you could rebook his time in the WWE last year?
Oh, you know what I say to that?
Good God!
Nope, I say fuck it! That's what I say. Any oozles? Ooh, cool. You know what I really want to do right now? Bang!
Like a canyon cutter? We're talking about a
canyon. Bang!
We're not talking about a canyon cutter. We're talking about...
I'm not getting flagged for violence on that one. We're tangent so bad. Okay. But we're going to talk about something unfortunate, or something that I'm not really too excited about right now. Well, I guess it's something else I'm not really too excited about. So, Sanity, long-awaited debut. They're in a 6-man tag match, after
it started with,
Started with
Eric Young.
Eric Young getting a title shot. Because Shinsuke Nakamura got attacked by a police dog, and I guess when he comes back, he'll get his feud back. I don't know how long Nakamura will be out for. I'm disappointed because he was really hitting his stride. I hope he's okay and hope he gets better soon. Not just because I'm a fan, but just because, damn, that sucks. Apparently there's some kind of that. Look it up. I don't know the whole story, so I'm not going to speculate it, too badly. I don't have enough evidence to give a justification, so.
But it led
to... EY and Jeff Hardy, U.S. title, turned into a Sanity versus the Usos and Jeff Hardy, and Sanity loses cleanly. Which leads me to go, why? Look, I get it. Jeff Hardy's a big fucking deal. Of course, he's going to pick up wins. He's good. But it's like, if you want, these people...
Maybe they could at least got not to be disrespectful to whatever, but maybe they could have gotten a pin on one of the Usos, or I don't think they're...
Maybe it could have gone to a no fucking contest.
You could, yeah, because
that's chaotic, and that's what Sandy's about to cause. The whole point of Sandy was they cause chaos. They live for chaos. Anything that's fucks the order up, they're all about. Well, that's not much of a fucking threat, because Jeff Hardy can just fucking beat him on their first fucking night. And I love Jeff Hardy. I'm a fan of Jeff Hardy. I don't want, Jeff Hardy to get, made to look bad, but... It would be like if... And I don't know exactly... I can't remember all the details of, what happened, 11 years ago when Age of the Fall debuted in Ring of Honor. But it'd be like if they would have hung... Jay Briscoe, and then, the first match after that, they have, at the time, Black, Jacobs, and Necro versus the Briscoes and, fucking...
Austin Aries, maybe? They could have done that, maybe?
And Aries wasn't feuding with him at the time, Aries, or with,
who was just another kind of...
Nigel, he was a champion, whatever. Just them and some guy, and then just all of a sudden, boom, Age of the Fall goes down. It's well...
Yeah, I can. When you put it that way, I see what you're saying.
And I'm not saying, they might have lost their first thing, but they didn't lose to the two heavy hitters, which were Jacobs and at the time Black. So, all these among the internet, all these people saying that NXT call-ups are misused. It's kind of well. look at what they. I mean, there's still time. I'm not like gonna say like it's fucking it's over. Fall fucking over, Cal. Or Daddy's not gonna do anything. But I'm not that kind of person. But it's kind of like you look at. You look at what they just did to Sanity. You look at how Asuka has lost, not just once, not just like, oh shit, Charlotte's really fucking good and beat her. Asuka's lost multiple times. The Revival are job guys. And I just can't think of like a more broad term than job guys. The Revival's nothing. The Ascension turned into nothing.
Well, the Ascension were borderline like. Kind of, I don't want to use the term sabotage.
Yeah.
But they just kind of had a lot of stuff just against them. Like, they immediately, just once again, another tangent, but, they immediately, like, were pretty much compared to the LOD. You had JBL pretty much condemning them for that comparison and basically, like, saying, no, you're not this, you're not that. They were weren't they mostly just getting, like, just beating no-name people that didn't really give them any credibility.
But it's just, you compare...
And then they just, like, got the shit beat out of them and then were never a factor again.
But then you look at them in NXT and they were the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions.
Well, look at Bo Dallas.
I'm
not going to act like I'm the world's biggest Bo Dallas fan, but, I mean, the statistics are what they are.
Yeah. It's just...
Well,
it's kind of... It's one of those... I want to not be that person on the internet saying, stay in NXT, stay in NXT. What's good? Oh, they're going to ring Ciampa. Oh, they're going to ring Gargano. Oh, they're going to ring Shayna Baszler. Oh, they're going to ring Adam Cole. Or they're ring the Undisputed Era when they all come to the... I don't want to be that guy thinking that way. Contrary to popular belief, I don't like being a pessimist. But, when I see what's happened to the Revival, what's happened to what seems to be happening with Asuka, at least at this point, and she could recover, but still, the balloon's kind of off the rose. The balloon's off the string right now with Asuka. She's much more vulnerable, and she doesn't have that aura she once had, and then now potentially Sanity getting kind of neutered. We still have the jury's still out on Almas, but it kind of makes me fearful for what's going to happen when Undisputed Era gets called up. Or are they just going to lose all their matches? What's going to happen when Shayna Baszler gets called up? What's going to happen when Gargano gets called up? Gargano is probably the best storyline in the company right now with Ciampa, and he's getting so over as a good guy. Like, he's doing so good, and it's just kind of like, you've got money with Johnny Gargano, and now, like, I'm scared for him. What is that next step that all wrestlers want going to be like for these, men and women in NXT right now? And it's because of, I guess maybe it hit me harder, seeing Sanity. Like,
Yeah.
I already should have felt it with the Revival, but just seeing it happen to Sanity this soon, it was just kind of like...
most people, even if they had a fall, they came in with a little more oomph, But
like, look at the Revival. They come in and, like, beat
that's what
the
I'm
New
saying.
Day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they came in, and, they came in like that. Sanity, they were making a statement, and then they lost.
Yeah.
I feel like in most other cases, whether it's anyone, they generally have something a little more, at least initially successful.
Right. Yeah. Well, the jury's still out on Almas. Maybe that could lead to something good. But like I said, not to reiterate the point I made, I guess, I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh no, oh god, Gargano's on the main roster, oh god, Shayna Baszler's on the roster, what are they going to do to ruin them? But...
Cassius, oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Still. You get my, I don't want to be the person that's like, oh my god, they're going to get ruined because they're on SmackDown now, but... But yeah, so we'll get through all this to get to something that legitimately surprised me. Daniel Bryan, entering a feud with the Bludgeon Brothers. They're kind of half-assed doing the Miz's bidding. And I think maybe this is kind of like a nice little side feud before the money match with the Miz with Bryan. That's been about 2 years in the making. Mm. But he's facing Luke Harper, and then Eric Rowan comes in, calls the DQ.
Because he hates Jakara alums.
Yes. Yes, he does. And Bryan's getting double teamed, and to the shock of everyone, mayoral candidate Kane comes down to the ring as backup for Bryan in something, a reunion that I didn't expect, and actually I kind of
you didn't know you wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know. I actually kind of felt like, hey, I want to see this. Bryan does his running knee on
Rowan, I think?
Yeah, it's Rowan. And gets some fucking air doing that running knee on him.
Like it might be like the highest I think I've ever seen him have to do that move.
Right. And then some double team, some choke slam action, and then some hug action. And Team Hell's back, and they're getting a shot at the SmackDown Tag Titles at Extreme Rules against the Bludgeon Brothers. And yeah, I hope that Bryan kind of moves on. Like, this isn't a permanent thing for Bryan, but, kind of a nice throwback to, if it wasn't for Team Hell No, dare I say, Bryan would not have gotten to the heights he would have, because this got to show him, it got to expand him. It got to show more than just, hi, I say yes, and I'm a good wrestler. And despite people liking him, it kind of sent his career higher, and maybe possibly a nice little last run for Kane, especially if he wins. One more time to kind of help Bryan out. It's a tag team. Kind of can hide some of the things that might, because Kane's not young anymore. So it can hide some of those things with Kane that maybe need hidden, like the fact that he's
his face.
Yes.
So you had a horrible burn. This year there's a big long story.
But anyway, this might be cool. I never really, I did. You hit the nail on the head. I didn't realize. I kind of wanted to see this one more time, and now we're gonna get it at least one more time, and hopefully they don't run into the ground. Hopefully it doesn't wear its welcome, but yeah. But the thing is, he's not doing the no much anymore, so why are they still Team Hell No?
Well, I guess you could give them a positive turn if they win the belts, they could be Team Hell Yes. And that's the only option other than Team Hell No.
Yeah. Team Friendship, that was what I voted for originally. I voted for Team Friendship. But it's also, whenever I saw that, it reminded me, it's like, Daniel Bryan and Big E were involved in a match together at WrestleMania once. You forget about that.
Yeah.
You really forget about that. But that's one thing, I legit did not expect that. I gotta, for all the shit I have given WWE and their decisions throughout this broadcast, I'm gonna, literally and figuratively, my hat's off to him there. I did not see that coming, and I was excited for it. So good on the WWE for that one. And yeah, AJ and Rusev. AJ's probably my favorite guy on the roster right now, but I want it to be Rusev Day at Extreme Rules, but we'll talk more about that later on another episode, I guess I should say. Nick is watching that New Japan event in Florida right now, so Nick, if you watch this and you getting to go see all the good wrestling, I just want to, say, fuck you. Just kidding, I love you, Nick. But, yeah, that's about it for us this week. Next week, we might be doing the show potentially after watching the New Japan and the Cow Palace. We'll see about that. If not, because schedules are all over the place, we're either going to do it right after, or we're going to do it right before. So it'll probably be by the time this drops on YouTube. If we do it before, by the time it drops on YouTube, the show would have already happened. Or we could do it. when you don't get paid money to do this and you have other jobs to do that, it makes filming kind of crazy. But that's JC. Go like his Facebook page at the Deluxe Asterix and check out some cool art. I'm Athletic Geek. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't just offer wrestling videos, comic book videos, and got some anime videos in the works coming soon. Give me an out in case they fall through, but coming soon. And if you want to see more content, please go like the Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. But that's JC. I'm the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks. And we're out.